Welcome to the Evalesco Healthy, Wealthy and Happy podcast. The information provided on and made available through this video and podcast does not constitute as financial product advice. The information is of general nature only and does not take into account your individual objectives, financial situation or needs. It should not be used, relied upon or treated as a substitute for specific professional advice. We recommend that you obtain your own independent professional advice before making any decisions in relation to your particular requirements or circumstances.
Welcome to the Evalesco Healthy, Wealthy and Happy podcast. My name is Jeff and I'll be your host today. I'm very pleased to be joined once again by Evalesco Mortgage Broker Extraordinaire, Kristi. Thanks for coming back, KT.
Thank you.
Today we're going to be talking about all things mortgage broking and the benefits of working with a mortgage broker and dig a little bit detail to a good case study around that. But before we get started, as we usually do, KT, what have you been doing lately to keep you healthy and happy?
Well, I have started a run club, as you can probably see by my face. I've just finished. So myself and a couple of other team members, we joined a run club every Tuesday morning and Friday morning.
Mm-hmm.
We generally do about 6Ks and it's broken up. Sometimes we're doing hill sprints, sometimes we're doing sort of interval training. So it's a good way of, keeping fit and healthy.
Fantastic. I've heard lots of stories about lots of stairs around
There's lots of
Barangaroo
stairs.
and the rocks, so that's good fun as well.
Yeah, it is.
Excellent. We're getting back onto less exciting things, but very important things. Talk to us about your role as a mortgage broker. You've been doing that for a few years now in the team. So, it's probably, I guess, in some ways assumed that everybody knows what a mortgage broker does. But tell us a little bit about what exactly is a mortgage broker.
Yeah, I guess the simplest way to put it is a mortgage broker is sort of the middleman between the bank and the borrower. We definitely help everyday Australians to achieve their dreams in getting into whether it's their first home or looking to refinance. We have various lenders on our panel that we do all our research with, and we help people get better interest rates. We also look at different products because a lot of the time it's not just always about the interest rate. It's all about the product that's going to best suit your needs.
Fantastic. So just building on that, why use a mortgage broker? Why not just go straight to the bank?
Of course, you can go to the bank, but which bank would you choose? What product would you choose? There's such a big variety out there, and I think that can cause some confusion with many people. Are they getting the best deal? Are they in the best product that's going to suit them? So I think that's why a mortgage broker is great, because we do all that research for you, we sort of do the hard work in making sure that you are getting the best interest rate or the best product that's going to suit your needs, whatever your goals and objectives are.
Fantastic. I think one simple way that I think about it is really a mortgage broker is working for the client, for the borrower, where the bank employee is working for the bank. And I think, I'm an optimist. I like to think most people will try to do the right thing even when they're working for the bank. But I guess they have slightly different rules that they work by and slightly different options available to them, don't they?
Whereas
definitely. A mortgage broker has to operate in the best interest of the client and is seeking to get the best outcome and spread the net a bit wider to try and cover that off. I think the other thing there is, which we might talk about in some of our examples, is often when you become a loyal customer of the bank, there's often, they call it the loyalty tax, isn't there? So by staying with the one bank, they think, well, you've been a customer for 20 years, you're not going to go anywhere, so we don't need to work too hard to keep your business. And that can add up to a significant, cost over a long time.
Yeah, and I see that all the time, especially when I'm reviewing clients' loans and doing pricing requests. A lot of the time the banks aren't offering their existing loyal customers the same rates that they would offer someone who's new to the bank. I definitely see that. Something happens all the time,
Yep, fantastic. So we've got a case study we wanted to run through about when is the best time to use a mortgage broker, and how we've been able to help some people. So just a bit of background. These were some long-term great clients of mine, John and Sarah. So they've been clients for probably 13, 14 years now. They run a small business. They've got 2 kids who are, one's just finished high school, the other one's towards the end of high school. They have been diligently putting money into super, growing their wealth. They bought an investment property. They've always been concerned about protecting themselves, so they've got insurance cover in place, and slowly but surely growing their wealth over the last few years. And they had some opportunities where they were doing some renovations to the house, and they took out some more debt, and they wanted to look at, well, how can we most effectively structure that, and didn't necessarily feel like they were getting the best deal from their existing bank. And that's when came and had a chat with you. So maybe talk us through a little bit about how you helped.
Yeah, so they originally suggested that they reach out to their current bank just to see if they can, do a price match to see if they can get a better interest rate. Unfortunately, that bank came back and said, no, you are on the best interest rates that we can offer at this time, which were quite high compared to the market. So their home loan was 6.99%. They had an investment loan, which was 7.34%, and then they had a line of credit, which was 9.65%, which was very high. So there was a bit of complexity with their sort of situation, being that their investment property was receiving Airbnb income, which a lot of lenders don't like to use or will use, but will shave it down to about 70%.
So that by that you mean they only count 70% of the overall income that is actually received. So they want to look at what's coming in, but then they discount it because of seasonality or variability. It's
they don't see it as as strong as rental income. They also were self-employed, which some lenders, it's just a little bit more complicated, and the way they treat, and some lenders don't. They might not have an appetite for self-employed clients. So there was a bit of research that needed to go into just making sure that we'd find the right lender that would, one, accept both of those incomes, and also make sure that they're going to get a better interest rate. So based on all that research that I did complete, Bankwest actually was the lender that came out on top. They would use 100% of the Airbnb income. They would also look at their self-employed income and only use one financial year. Some lenders will use 2 and then average it over the 2 years, which can sometimes affect, serviceability and things like that. So Bankwest was the lender that, definitely allowed for those 2 things. They also, interest rates were really, really good. They were 6.19% for the home loan. It was 6.49 for their investment, for both of those investment loans, which ended up saving them over $8,000 in the first year, and then thereafter it was $10,000, which if you look at it over the life of a 30-year loan, that works out to be over $306,000. That's
a lot of money anyway.
A lot of money, and there's
slice and dice.
So that was a really good outcome for them, which helped their overall cash flow and budget.
Fantastic. And I think one of the other things we talked about was thinking about the structuring of the loan as well. And you talked about that previously, saying interest rates are fantastic, and this is an example where you're able to get a significant saving, but also looking at the structuring of the loan. So I think you said they're 2 investment loans, so you moved one of the investment loans from a line of credit to be an investment loan.
Correct. Yeah.
Which can gives them, in this case, the same flexibility, but saving them 3% on interest, which is pretty massive. But you also talked about the interest-only period and how that was structured as well, so maybe touch on that.
So they, both of those, the investment loan did interest-only expire, so that converted back to P&I, which is, it's fine, but because they still had a home loan, we decided to extend that for another 5 years to allow them to pay off that non-deductible home loan first, is that one of their goals was to pay that off as soon as possible. So we were allowed to extend that for another further 5 years, which helps us with their cash flow and allowing them to put more towards the home loan and paying that off first.
Yep.
Another sort of, they had a goal of just keeping their offset accounts as well. So Bankwest was offered multiple offset accounts, which allowed them to keep those buckets of savings that they like to have, whilst also offsetting the home.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, great example of just a slight tweak to the structure. But if you want to get rid of, which most people do, and we generally advise, get rid of your non-tax deductible home loan first, then putting all your cash flow there and setting up your offsets accounts in the right way is really important. So that's just one really good case study of a scenario where, like you said, there's a little bit of complexity, a few moving pieces there to sort of balance out. But what are some of the other, I guess, broader benefits of working with a mortgage broker?
Yeah, I think probably the number one would be the wide range of lenders and products that we have available.
Yep.
So if you go to a bank, you're necessarily just going to get their products and their, what their niches are. So with a mortgage broker, we've got a whole panel of different lenders, different products that we can choose from. That's going to best suit whatever your goals and objectives are. Yep.
And going back to John and Sarah's situation, their existing bank wasn't able to provide that flexibility because of the product suite that they had, and not necessarily because they didn't want to, but just the products they had available.
Yeah. Obviously, expert advice. We do this every day, so we're, monitoring the market and keeping up to date with changes and things like that. So we're able to provide you with great options and financial information about those things.
Yeah, I think building on that, one of the benefits that I think we can bring to the table, and you probably won't toot your own horn, but I'll talk you up a little bit, is coming from a financial advice, financial planning background as well, and you've been working with us for many years and come through that part as well. We take a slightly broader perspective than sometimes just focusing on lending only, where you can look at what's your overall situation, what are your goals that you're trying to achieve, and apply that financial advice lens to your lending structure as well, which I think is a point of difference and can be very valuable.
Yeah. And I think another great one is saving you time and effort. So we, as a mortgage broker, we handle all the legwork, the paperwork, the shopping around, comparing offers and dealing with the paperwork, which can, there's a lot that can be involved in the process. So I think just relieving that stress from having to do that yourself and knowing that you, are getting the best option for your circumstances.
Yeah, I think that's a really valuable one because, it's quite easy to access that sort of information these days. You can Google, best loans or different product providers, and there's plenty of information there. But then you can go down a rabbit hole and get caught up in, well, is that one slightly better or this one? So you can, through the software, through your experience, through the process, you can kind of, I guess, filter that and just bring relevant information to people as opposed to everything that's available out there.
Yeah. And like we've said all through, like better interest rates and terms. I mean, as a mortgage broker, we do have relationships with the banks, and we can negotiate sometimes to get better interest rates for you, or better, if your circumstances are a little bit different or out of the box, we can sort of get approvals for those types of loans. So just being able to secure, I guess, those better interest rates and better terms for your loan.
Yeah, and you touched on, dealing with John and Sarah, sent them back to their bank, or we can contact their bank to try and get a pricing, we call it a pricing request, try and get a better rate. And often that is successful, isn't it, in talking to their existing bank?
It is. Just, I guess, putting that out there that you might be looking to refinance or switch banks. Switch banks. Sometimes we'll make the bank that you're with come to the party and give you a better interest rate. But and I think sometimes I'm able to do that on your behalf, but there are some occasions where the banks sort of want you to the client to ring. But yeah.
In which case you can tell them the questions to ask and
give them the rates that are competitive in the market.
They should be expecting what to get. Yeah, great. What else?
I guess simplify the process. So a mortgage broker will be there with you from the pre-approval stage all the way to closing. So they'll guide you through that whole process, help you avoid any potential pitfalls that might come up. Just ensuring that all the documentation is in place to make sure it's a smooth process as possible and stress-free. I think was probably the biggest one, because it can be a stressful time. Buying your first home or things like that can be daunting and stressful, but we try and take that away and make it as smooth and stress-free process as possible.
Yep, fantastic. I think there's probably many more benefits, but we won't sit here all day, Kate. Thank you very much for sharing those. Is there any final words that you want to say in wrapping up?
No.
Okay. Well, I think in wrapping up, I would just say there's very little downside for you in talking to a mortgage broker like Kristi. If you've got an existing loan and you're not sure you're getting the best rates for that, you haven't got the best structure, you don't know whether you could be doing better, then reach out and have a chat. If you are looking to buy a new home, a new investment property, then it's a good time to think about your overall situation. As we've already said, Kristi does often say to people, let's go back to your current bank and we can help you to renegotiate or get a better deal there. That might be a simple step, but so I'd encourage you to reach out, have a chat to Kristi, reach out to your advisor if you'd like some help, because there are lots of ways that you can save a lot of money and time by working with a great mortgage broker like Kristi. So thanks for sharing your wisdom. Thanks for all your help for our clients. And thank you for watching and have a great day.
Thanks for tuning in to the Evalesco